Want to know how to make your grilled cheese sandwiches come out this nicely golden brown every time without standing up at the stovetop? Tune in. Let's get started. What do we need to make a grilled cheese sandwich? First of all, we're going to need bread. You can use any kind that you want. I have some Italian bread here, but you could use sourdough, white, whatever you want to do. You're going to need 2 slices of bread. You're also going to need cheese. You can, again, use any kind of cheese that you want. Monterey Jack is great, cheddar, mozzarella, American, lots of different kinds that you can use. Then you're going to need some butter, just a little bit, not all of this. I won't be using all of this in the recipe, but just a little bit for putting on your bread. And if you're going to do the rainbow part, you're going to need some food coloring. You can do any color that you wish. I have mine lined up here. Then for supplies, you're going to need some bowls. You'll need as many as the different colors that you're going to do. And you're going to need spoons for stirring those up, a knife for putting the butter on your bread, and a metal baking sheet. You will want a metal baking sheet so it will brown the bread nicely, make it nice and crisp. And that's all you're going to need. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven. We want to get that nice and warm so it's all ready when we have our grilled cheese put together. So we're going to preheat our oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit or 232 degrees Celsius. So 450 Fahrenheit or 232 Celsius. I'm going to heat mine. And you're going to want the rack of your oven to be near the top, not necessarily the very top. I usually put mine at the second level, and that will get it up high, close to the heat. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our cheese and we're going to separate it into our bowls. If you're not coloring, you can just measure out some cheese, that's fine. And we need about 1/3 cup of cheese. So I'm going to do mine 4 different colors. So I'm going to take my bowls out. So the next thing you want to do is measure out your cheese. So you're going to want about 1/3 cup. So you can use a measuring cup or you can just eyeball it, put a little in each bowl for each of the colors that you want to do. That would work fine as well. So I'm just going to eyeball mine. I'm just going to put a little bit in each bowl. And if you're doing more than one grilled cheese sandwich, you can double this, triple this, whatever you want. The great thing about the way that we're going to be doing this is that you can do multiple grilled cheese sandwiches at once. You don't need to do one at a time on the stovetop. And then what I'm going to want to do is add my food coloring directly to these bowls. So again, I'm doing 4 colors, and I'm doing red, yellow, green, and blue, but you can do whatever you want. And I'm just going to put a drop or 2 in each of the bowls. You can add more if some food coloring is different, so you can add more if your colors isn't to your liking. And a little more to get deeper color, or use less if you want to. I'm going to do 2 drops in each. So I did my red, yellow, my green, and then I'm going to take my spoons and stir each of these up. Use a different spoon for each one to keep your colors distinct. Just stir them up so it's mixed up. Won't look that great yet, but when the cheese melts, it will look good. So my red, my yellow, and do my green. The darker colors always do look better. They come out a little better when you're mixing these up. But my red and my yellow don't look too bad right now. The green's just deeper color. And then my blue. Okay. And then what we're going to do is butter the outside of the bread. Get my bread out. So I need 2 slices. And I'm going to take my knife and take a little of my butter. If your butter just came out of the fridge, you will need to soften it a little bit. You can put it in the microwave for 5 to 10 seconds, depending on how hard it is. If it's been sitting out on the counter, it is fine. You just don't want it to tear the bread. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just spread it on my bread. I want to spread it across the outside, and this is going to help brown your bread as it cooks in the oven. Okay, so I have that. And then you're going to do the other slice. So you only do one side of each slice of bread. Set that aside. And then what we're going to do is add our cheese, our colored cheese, to our bread. So we're going to take one slice and set it buttered side down on our baking sheet. And for the baking sheet, I use it plain. I do not grease it or anything because we have butter on our bread and that's going to be the grease that we need. So buttered side down. So one buttered side up, one buttered side down. And what we're going to do is start lining our colors on our bread. And you want to do it a certain way so that you get the rainbow. So I'm going to do my red. And what you're going to see is if you go across like this, then you'll get that rainbow effect. If you went like this, you wouldn't see it when you pull apart the bread. So you're going to want to go across. I'm going to take my first line. Just make a straight line across there. It's okay if you have a little extra cheese left over, or you can put it all on there. You just want to stack it in a neat line though. Or you can throw it all on there. If you want to do that, that is fine too. I've seen people do that. You get a very colorful sandwich. So that's my first line, my red. And then I'm going to do my yellow. You just kind of push it right up next to the red. And I have to make it a little taller to get your colors to fit in there, or all of your cheese to fit in there. And then I'm going to do my green layer. Just try to keep it so you have enough room for one last line. So I just kind of keep pushing it together to keep it so there's space for the last color. So then we'll do our blues, our blue, or whatever color you're doing. Okay, so I have all my colors on there. I think you can kind of see. I don't want to tip it over too much that it will fall apart. So I have my red, yellow, green, and blue. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your other slice of bread and you're going to keep it buttered side up. So the butter on top, and I'm going to put that right on top of here. So that's your sandwich all put together. And then what we're going to do is once your oven's up to temp, you're going to put it in your oven for 5 minutes. So we're going to do 5 minutes on one side. So that's going to brown the bottom of your bread. Then you're going to take this out. Remember to use an oven mitt. Take this out of the oven. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a spatula, something like this, and you're going to flip it over. And then that's going to brown the other side. And then that's going to have everything melted. So by the time it comes out again, you're going to have a nice melted grilled cheese sandwich. So we're going to do 5 minutes. I'll put mine in for 5 minutes, and I'll be right back to show you that. And my timer's just about to go off, so I'm going to take it out. And you'll see it's slightly brown on top, but we're going to flip it and get that completely brown. If you're putting it on your counter, put something down. And what I'm going to do is flip this over. You'll see how nice and brown it is on the other side. So see how perfectly brown that is? So much easier than a stovetop. So I have that side done, and now I'm going to cook the other side for 3 more minutes. Mine is done now, so I'm going to take it out. So nice and brown. So I'm going to take my plate out and slide it right onto there. So this is my grilled cheese, nice and brown on both sides. And you can let it cool for a little bit before eating it, or you can enjoy it now. I'm going to cut mine open so you can see the rainbow parts. So As you let the cheese sit for a little longer, it will be a little stringier. So there is my rainbow grilled cheese sandwich. So lots of fun for all ages to make. And next week I'm going to show you how to make 3 great treats for trunk or treat or Halloween to get out at either event. And you're going to love them. We go all out for Halloween in this house. It's one of our favorite holidays. We love the trunk or treat especially too. We do a haunted kitchen in my son's name. And all the kids loved all the baked treats that I brought last year. So we're going to do it again this year, and I'm going to share those with you. So join us every week for a new recipe. Sometimes it will be sweet, sometimes it will be savory, but they're all going to be great hits in your family. Bye.